Hi, this is Donna Nova, the Transdimensional Twin Flame and the Afterlife Artist. I am going to pull a few cards today and intuitively channel some messages relating to the cards because Spirit always gives us the right messages and the cards always align with whatever needs to be heard that day to give people some comfort and maybe some guidance and some focus during these unusual times that we're living in right now. We've got some smudge going. Let me reactivate this a little bit. This is just a little bit of sage. And Palo Santo. Aromatherapy is very good for calming, but smudging is a little more than that. It's an energetic tool to cleanse the space, anybody in the space, your cards and your crystals and everything. So let's activate the root chakra bowl, and then I will play the heart chakra bowl like we do, and then I'll pull a few cards. Also, I'm going to be channeling these sacred symbols more often. These are embedded with light codes, and this one was for peace, centeredness, protection, and sovereignty. And I think you can tell by the shapes. If you're in the center there, you are centered, you're protected, so if you would like one of these for a particular issue that you have, just let me know. And if you'd like to keep the hard copy of it, that you could frame, or you could burn it if you wanted to use this in a ceremony and burn with the intention of receiving these things, you could do that too, and I could mail it to you. That would be $5 for the drawing and then just the shipping. But I'm going to start doing those more often. Okay, you can see I have my decks here, like always. We have the Urban Crow Oracle. That's this one. We have the Crow Tarot, which is this one. We have the Tales for Tomorrow Tarot, which is this one. And we have the Lenormand. which I think I might use today. It's a different deck. Actually, Tales for Tomorrow is the Lenormand. I got that wrong. What I meant to show was this Guardians of the Night with all the different animals. That's this deck. So let me see what we should pull today. I think Lenormand would be cool because we don't usually use that one, and most people are not familiar with it. It's not the tarot. It's a different divination system. It's like oracle cards, but they're very detailed. They are symbolic. So let's just shuffle a few of these. This is a new deck to me as well, meaning I had never had Lenormand until this. So these are all numbered. And you can see the moon is in the tarot, but this is a different deck and it's a different meaning. That is some beautiful artwork. The moon is number 32. So let me look that up. And I'll let you screenshot this if you want to look back on it later. Okay, let's see if I can read this. The moon is about intuition, dreams, illusion, uncertainty, deception, introspection, and feminine energy. That's similar to the tarot, actually. The moon is often associated with intuition and dreams, and may indicate that you rely too heavily on your intuition to guide you. It may also point to a period of lucid dreaming that holds important messages. Illusion and uncertainty often arrive with the moon and may represent being confused or unclear about a situation, and you may need to be careful about trusting appearances. In addition, the moon may signify the potential for deception and secrets, or that someone is hiding something. When the moon rises into a reading, it may signal a need for introspection. You may benefit from taking time to reflect on your life or past experiences, and that they are seeking a greater self-awareness. Finally, often connected to feminine energy and the divine feminine, the moon may advise that now is a great time to get in touch with your feminine side or work with feminine energy. Well, that makes sense, and I think we've all been made quite aware that there are lots of ways there can be deceptions and secrets happening right now, especially if you live in America. We're dealing with people who have no scruples or morals, and they're definitely not authentic and not honest. So that does track for me anyway. But in your personal life, pay attention as well. This is Mercury retrograde shadow season, which means for the next 2 weeks we will, well, we just instantly got 3 cards. So for the next couple weeks, we'll be revving up to Mercury retrograde, which is a time when you are supposed to go inward and not make any plans. I mean, you can make plans, but expect them to change. Things change during Mercury retrograde. So if you make some travel plans, they'll probably change. If you sign a contract, something might not quite be right, so you have to read the fine print. Just be a little extra careful. That's all. We got the 5 of Wands, which is a beautiful, hardworking, industrious beaver friend. The 5 of Wands. Okay. We got the Page of Wands. I think they are sitting on some cherry blossoms, which is a synchronicity for me right now. That is beautiful. And our third card is the 4 of Pentacles. Oh my gosh, how pretty. I want to get all the details back there. The little white rabbit is another synchronicity for me. Look at those little bunnies. So the Four of Pentacles. So, okay. So here's our cards, plus this one. So let me go see what she has to say about the Five of Wands. Okay, you can screenshot this if you want to. I'm going to read it over here because it's longer. Okay, the Five of Wands. You know those days when you wake up with a plan only to throw it in the garbage because apparently the universe didn't get the memo? Your day is spent putting out fires, dealing with things that seem to have popped up out of nowhere. And just as you think you have everything done, something else arrives to steal you away. You may experience one of those days that leaves you feeling as though every person you encountered has a different opinion and no one can seem to agree. The Five of Wands implies that you will discover some drama due to petty debates. Doesn't that sound familiar right now? Demands, it could be debates, demands, or just life. If you are one to look on the bright side, this may be an excellent opportunity to get some outside perspective or slow down. The idea of a beaver working tirelessly to create a home while contending with the rough waters came to mind when making the Five of Wands. I just thought about this poor creature being at the mercy of something so overpowering and uncontrollable, and yet at the same time unfettered and focused on staying on task. The beaver is a wise master builder who offers us the wisdom of constructing boundaries that will ensure that we stay on task. Like the dams they build, you may need to slow down a bit, practice a little restraint, and not let every impulse or desire to act break through. So the key words for this animal, the beaver, is construction, boundaries, determination, creativity, and having fortitude. So it sounds like we need to buckle down and stay focused instead of getting distracted all day. That's going to be hard, but that's the truth. And it makes sense. And okay, we're going to go to the Page of Wands. So we got two wands here. The Page of Wands. Okay, if you would like to screenshot. So the key words for the Page of Wands are creative, confident, and enthusiastic. When thinking about these qualities, the bowerbird came to mind because this fanciful bird is an artist. It's romantic. It takes animal creativity to a whole new level by creating a work of art that seduces a mate. The bowerbird combs the land looking for bright, glittery, complementary objects with an eye towards an aesthetic as it designs an entrance to its nest. When the Page of Wands appears, your current situation would benefit from conjuring up a little enthusiasm. Add a little panache. Take a deep breath and call upon the courage you have burning within because it is ready to ignite change. Get excited. Get motivated because there is no time to waste. Strike now while the iron is hot. If you have been holding back, waiting for some universal green light to let you know it's okay to go forward with a new idea or an opportunity, this is it. You are in a position to make a change. The Page of Wands asks that at this time you allow your creative mind to explore all options and gravitate towards those that spark passion. When you hold in your heart that you can achieve anything you set out to accomplish, you will find the confidence to take a risk that will lead to success. If you need inspiration, seek out the energy of the bowerbird, as this youthful and passionate bird will help you find the resources that will not only instill confidence, but also attract the opportunity you desire. This bird does not play small. It goes out there with an abundance of chutzpah, knowing that it has all that any mate could possibly want. That's the story it tells itself. That's the self-talk that allows it to be vulnerable enough to strut around as if it were a king. So the key words here for the bowerbird are creativity, passion, youthfulness, and enthusiasm. Well, that's a really nice, enthusiastic card. So if we buckle down and pay attention, go inside ourselves and do some introspection, buckle down and get some things done in our day, and we have some enthusiasm about a new project, it sounds like we're going to go some places. And I can only imagine it's going to be good, because the next card we have is the Four of Pentacles. This is going to be a nice, abundant card about safety and home. I believe. I mean, I know it's not tarot, but that's what I think. All right, 4. I mean, yes, it is tarot. We already did the Lenormand. Duh. Okay, the 4 of Pentacles with the little bunnies. Okay. When it came time to create the image of the 4 of Pentacles, I thought about the nimble fox losing its agility because it is consumed by fear of failing to keep the quick-moving rabbits it caught earlier in the evening. In trying to restrict the rabbits, it also restricts itself. That makes sense. When the 4 of Pentacles appears, you may need to examine how control or your need for it impacts a situation. Are you or someone else holding on so tightly that there is no room for growth? An example of this may be someone who cannot let go of some tasks at work, also is unwilling to relinquish control to a coworker or hire some help. Basically, they don't want to delegate because they want to control everything. This may, in the end, cause stagnation and less productivity because nobody can do it all. And the question you may want to ask yourself with this card is, are you saving or investing? One grows and the other stays the same. The rabbit brings abundance. Call on this energy, but don't restrict it. Let it run free. Release the fox to do what it does best, to be nimble and clever. When you use the fox and the rabbit in harmony, you will have the skills needed to bring about a positive shift, and with it, a beautiful harvest. That's what pentacles are about. And the number 4 in numerology is about stability, so that makes sense. And the key word here for the rabbit is abundance, reproduction, open, creativity, and luck. The key word for the fox is cleverness, spry, magical, and shape-shifting. Well, that was nice. Seems to me like if we can get everything under control by following the advice of the previous cards, that we could have a really nice abundance going on. And I want to pull one of these oracle cards because they're my favorite oracle deck. You can see some of the art. Sorry, they're upside down. So let me just pull one of these Urban Crow oracles so we can wrap things up. And while I'm doing this, shuffling, one of the topics that I channel about quite often and talk about quite often is how to deal with fear, because that's probably one of the biggest issues humans have to deal with. And when you don't resolve your fear by either getting to the bottom of it and learning that you don't need to be afraid, or when you constantly try to make yourself feel safe in life so that you basically try to control everything so that you never get hurt again the way you have been in the past, that doesn't work. That's honestly kind of what this last card was talking about with the fox, by saying that the fox tries to control everything so tightly that nothing gets done, and it's stressed all the time. And there's a lot of collective fear right now for obvious reasons. We all know why. And here is some antidote to it. Now, along with doing some self-examination, some introspection, some shadow work, where you go inside yourself and you find out why you're really afraid. What are you really afraid of? Basically, you dig down into your fear. You name your fear, and then you say, what would be so bad if that actually happened? And then you'll name that fear. And then you do it again. And you, on the new fear, you say, okay, well, what if that happened? What's the worst? What's so bad about it? And then you name what you're afraid of if the second thing happened. And you go back all the way to your original core fear. And usually it's a fear of death. All fears normally come down to being ostracized from a group, or being like homeless, losing everything, just basically being helpless and vulnerable. But, if you knew that you would be taken care of by our society, regardless of the circumstances of your life, you wouldn't have that fear. And if you trust the universe and your higher self to get you what you need in life, you wouldn't have that fear. So do some work about trusting yourself, your higher self, and the universe, because you co-created this scenario that you're in with your life plan, with your soul contract before you got here. So you did choose some of the challenges. You didn't, it's not all predetermined, but you did choose the theme of your life and the things that you would want to learn. So if you can trust that, trust yourself to have made a good decision, and realize that you can conquer anything that comes at you, or else it wouldn't be coming at you. You were put here to thrive. You were put here to conquer challenges. I mean, you signed up for it. You said, you know what? I'm going to do it. I'm just going to come to Earth and kick so much butt. And then we got here and we forgot that we were, limitless and powerful. And we were like, what is this? I don't like this. So if you can get back in touch with your higher self and realize, maybe talk to your higher self, meditate, talk to your higher self, and, find out, what do you think you're really here for? And get on that path. Your fear will dissipate when you get on your true path by figuring out who you really are and what you want to do. Doesn't have to be complicated. All you have to do is follow your excitement. What makes you happy? Go do that. Even if it doesn't have to make money. It doesn't have to be your career change. It could just be this right here, pulling cards. I mean, this isn't my life, but right now, pulling some cards was my favorite option. It just made a nice little break to my day. And the other thing about fear, so, for one thing, trust your higher self to know what it was doing when it chose this life. Trust yourself. Trust yourself to have your own back. And love yourself, because if you don't love yourself, you're going to be abandoning yourself throughout your life in order to fit in, because you're afraid, like I mentioned earlier, afraid of being ostracized by the group. But when you dig down into all of your fears and you get down into the core fear that you have, you'll probably find it's a fear of death. And the thing about that is we don't really die. As I found out when my twin flame transitioned across the veil. I mean, I knew it before that because I was already a medium, but all of this on this journey that I've been on for 10 years has taught me we don't die. That's the biggest lie we've ever been told. So there's nothing to be afraid of. I've been to the other side. I can bilocate there. I have experienced what it's like in the fifth dimension, the upper astral, the place we go in the afterlife when we die. It's amazing. There is nothing to fear. It's freedom. And when you get to that side, you're still alive, and you look back on this life and you're like, wow, what was that? You know, and when you look back on your life, you're going to want to see something cool that you can look back and say, that was amazing what I did. So try to treat your life like you can't wait to see your life review when you get to the other side, because you're going to be so impressed with everything that you accomplished and all the hardships you overcame, and especially how good you were to other people. Another way to get rid of fear is to embody love, which is the opposite vibration to fear. Fear and love do not coexist. So love comes from the pure place in your soul. That's what the universe is made of. That's what our connection to the other side is made of. Our connection to God, the all that is, and source consciousness, our higher selves, and each other, nature, you know, our animals. That's love. And when you're in the vibration of love, which is a very high vibration, you're not in a lower vibration such as fear. So if I were you and I was afraid these days, I would focus on self-love and love for others. Do something that you love. Talk to somebody that you love. Or simply do a loving act. Be a loving person. Put love out into the world. That's what everyone needs to be doing right now. The more love we put out into the world, the more we disarm the people who are trying to put out hatred. The antidote to hatred is love. The light will vanquish the dark. The light does not need the dark. The darkness needs the light, but the light doesn't need the dark. I mean, there's going to be both. We're in a dualistic environment right now, but, you know, the light creates. The darkness doesn't create anything. So go be the most loving person you can be in every interaction that you have, whether it's on the phone with customer service, whether somebody comes to your door to sell you something, whether you're in line at the grocery store, when you're talking to your friends, when you're online talking to people that you don't know. Just be loving. Just be that vibration of love in all ways every day. That is going to help you get over your fear, because you'll get in touch naturally with the higher consciousness and your higher self and God that way. God is not anything other than creation and love and curiosity. These cards will not cooperate and fly out of my hand naturally, so I'm just going to pull one. If this card says fear on it, well, it doesn't. It says mimicry. I bet that crow is mimicking that dog bark. Mimicry. Number 30. Okay, let's see what it says here. And this is the book. If you want a screenshot. Okay. I can't really read that. I'm going to read it this way. The crow's call was so human-like that it convinced the dog that it was its guardian calling out. Although, in most cases, are found within domesticated crows, like parrots, crows have an ability to mimic sounds from voices to sirens. Mimicry may arise in a reading if you need to consider if someone is putting on airs or is pretending to be something that is not genuine. On the other hand, it may be you that might hold on, I lost my place. It may be you that might benefit from a little mimicry. Sometimes we need to fake it till we make it and project a persona that is not our own to get a foot in the door, but be cautious. The truth may come out, and you may be required to prove your authenticity. Mimicry may also indicate that someone is trying to sound or pass themselves off as something other than themselves in order to gain favor or your attention. You may need to ask yourself if this individual is showing you their authentic self or simply pretending to be something you find attractive. So that's kind of like with Mercury retrograde approaching, that's part of, being discerning about truth versus untruth. It goes along with everything we've been talking about, really. Okay, so there's our cards for today. And this was a long one because we had 3 cards come out of the tarot, and those always take a little longer, but you don't want to dismiss that because Spirit said those were the cards we needed. Okay, thank you if you watched all of this. I hope it was a little break in your day. And as always, if you would like a card pulled, let me know. And if you would like a sacred symbol channeled, these symbols actually do have healing energy in them. They're not just art. And I don't have to write on them. I can just make the symbol. You could even frame it if you wanted to order your own for $5. So these will be channeled on occasion in these videos, but also if you'd like your own, I could mail one to you. Or I don't even have to mail it to you. I could just do it for you and send you a screenshot of it. And that would just be free. And I would just keep this in my repertoire of symbols and pull it out when needed. Because I do have the gift of psychometry. So healing energy does go into those symbols. All right. Thank you guys. And I hope you have a great day.